The White House slamming the CBO score on the health care bill, saying in a statement, quote, "The CBO has consistently proven it cannot accurately predict how health care legislation will impact insurance coverage. This history of inaccuracy is demonstrated by its flawed report on coverage premiums and predicted deficit arising out of Obamacare reminds us that its analysis must not be trusted blindly." So, does the White House have a point? Are the CBO numbers inaccurate? And is this why the vote was delayed? Joining me now, Lachlan Markay, White House reporter at the Daily Beast. Welcome back, Lachlan.
Thanks for having me.
So what does the CBO score have to do with this big delay?
I mean, it's basically the baseline that we have to measure a lot of the effects of major congressional legislation, both financially and otherwise, in this case, the number of people that might have health insurance. But you do see this kind of criticism coming from both sides when CBO numbers come out that they don't like. You know, we saw it with the Obama White House back when Obamacare was first making its way through Congress. So, you know, it's not particularly surprising, but I think that Mitch McConnell putting off this vote and saying that they were going to try to get CBO to rescore it shows that a lot of people, members of Congress who are paying attention to what their constituents are telling them, are still paying attention to and putting credence in CBO's numbers.
All right, so let's talk about the bill a little bit. Does the delay mean that this legislation is dead?
Dead? No. I think it's on life support.
Extremely sleepy?
Yeah, well, at risk of using a healthcare pun, you know, it's definitely in critical condition. And, you know, they're going to come back after the July 4th recess and try to get some folks on board. You know, you saw folks from across the ideological spectrum, from Susan Collins and Dean Heller to Rand Paul and Mike Lee, that were expressing various objections to the bill. So, you know, it's kind of trying to thread a needle, getting these more moderate folks on board while still giving conservatives something that they can get behind.
Yeah, it is such a tightrope. It seems almost impossible to make both parties happy, and they don't seem like they're part of the same party. So where do we go from here? What happens over the course of the recess? Well,
you know, you can expect, if any members of Congress are doing town hall events, that there's going to be lots of fun fireworks going on at those. But, you know, Leader McConnell and Republican leadership are going to, you know, presumably be nose to the grindstone, really trying to get the details of this hammered out, trying to get CBO to weigh in on it. We'll see if they have enough time. That's not actually, you know, we don't know if CBO is going to be able to score this again before leadership puts it back to a vote. So, you know, they got a lot of work to do and very little time to do it.
All right. Well, Mike Pence has been working some of those conservative Republicans, like Mike Lee, trying to get them on board to this timeline that was so forced and so impossible. Both parties were unhappy with the thought of having to vote on this week. That's obviously not happening. But let's talk a little bit about Mike Pence's role here. You say that he is the most powerful vice president in U.S. history. Do you stand by that statement?
Well, he's definitely up there. I think, you know, in terms of the White House trying to pursue a legislative strategy, I think Mike Pence is doing far more than the president himself is. So actually getting laws passed, you know, I think you've rarely seen a vice president take a much larger role than the president himself in that process. So in that respect, yeah, I think he's definitely right up there. And he's just a really well-liked guy among not even just Republicans, although primarily Republicans, but, you know, his years of service on Capitol Hill really ingratiated him with a lot of folks up there. And, you know, these are folks who, for political reasons or personal reasons, you know, really either don't want to be seen talking to Donald Trump, or, you know, his convincing isn't really going to do much good for them. So having Pence up there, you know, having dinner with conservative members as he did last night, yeah, is crucial to the White House being able to get this stuff through.
Yeah, Donald Trump does not speak their dialect, but Mike Pence absolutely speaks the legislative language, and maybe that's what is his most powerful arrow in the quiver, is the ability to talk to people in a way that a non-politician simply can't.
Right, and, you know, he has both legislative experience in Congress, and then as the governor of Indiana, he's got executive experience. So he comes at this with a lot of, you know, a lot of work on sort of both sides of the equation.
Do you think Pence is secretly auditioning to be president?
I think he's keeping his head down, remaining loyal, trying not to annoy anybody who might be able to throw a wrench in the works if it ever comes to that.
All right, Lachlan Markay, thank you so much for your time.